What's up, my friends? It is Griff Nielsen. Can't talk right now. It is Griff Nielsen from Counterculture Fitness. How are you? It's Monday at the time of this recording, so if you're watching it the day of, happy Monday to you. Hopefully your week is off to a good start. Today, I want to talk about what hardly anybody is talking about when it comes to weight loss, okay? And that is sleep deprivation. This is something that nobody sees. We are so transfixed about looking about this myopic version of what weight loss is. It's calories in versus calories out. And the sad shame about that is if you even look at a college textbook, even up to this day, you are going to hear people say that it's all about calories in versus calories out. Now that's part of the equation, but it's so far off the entire picture. Today, I want to focus like a laser beam on sleep deprivation, and I want to show you why weight loss is so much more than just calories in versus calories out. I hope you can read this. I know at this time of day in my office, the sun comes in, so if it's glaring and you can't see this, I'll try to explain what this is. At the very top of the order of why sleep deprivation will affect your weight loss is that it affects your hormones, okay? Now, there's so many of these hormones. I'm just gonna list a few of them. One of the main hormones that it affects is insulin and cortisol. Sleep deprivation, make no mistake about it, it's stressful to the body. It's very stressful to the body. We don't think that it is because we've been bred in a culture where it's okay to sleep less, and if you're a hard-charging entrepreneur, if you're a businessman or woman, it's almost a noble thing to get less sleep because you're hustling, right? But in reality, when you are sleep deprived, your cortisol, one of your primary stress hormones, goes up. Now, if you're having a high amount of cortisol in your blood, in your arteries, and you eat a lot of carbohydrate with that, the cortisol, in conjunction with insulin, because when you eat carbohydrates, your insulin's going to go up, you're going to end up storing more calories away. And some of those as fat. So again, sleep deprivation is a form of stress to the body. Your cortisol goes up. And if you're eating high amounts of carbohydrates, which I'm going to show you why that happens in just a second, your insulin is going to go up and you're going to shuttle those away in your muscle and or into fat, one of the two. But here's the thing. Normally, that insulin would take some of those calories from carbohydrate and it could put it in your muscles. Think of that as like a storage container. But when you're sleep deprived, your insulin sensitivity goes down. So think of it like a lock and key. Like in your muscle, insulin will go and it'll knock on the door. The muscle will say, hey, I've got some calories for you. And the muscle will say, oh, okay, it opens up. It's called the GLUT4 receptor. Under sleep deprivation, that receptor gets locked. It's like a rusty lock. Totally, I couldn't talk. It really gets obstinate and it gets recalcitrant to that signal that insulin is trying to send. So if you're insulin resistant and you can't store it in your muscle, guess where it goes? Into fat storage, okay? So your hormones, think of your hormones as a major player for weight gain or weight loss. If you're not sleeping enough, you're altering your hormones. You're altering your insulin and your cortisol. You're literally making it almost impossible to get in a fat burning state. You're in a fat promoting state. The other hormones that are heavily, let's see, ghrelin. Well, actually that's down here. Hold my horses here. Another key hormone that gets peaked is called ghrelin, and this is the hunger hormone. It's secreted by the beta cells of the stomach, and it basically says you are hungry. Now here's the thing. This is secreted because when you're low in energy, the body basically says, get food, eat food, and you're low in energy because you're tired. It's not because you're low in food. Matter of fact, most people that are chronically sleep deprived overeat because this hormone, ghrelin, is telling them to eat falsely. It's saying eat more, when in reality they need to sleep more. Okay? So ghrelin is like telling them, it's a hard charging, it's telling them to do more or eat more, even though they don't need it, they just need to sleep more. Okay, so those are hormones. This could be like your own little category right there. Think of that, if you want to put that in a box, we human beings are really good at that. If you want to put that in a box, this is one major thing we are not looking at. Now, if we go down to like neurotransmitters to another box, there's a little neurotransmitter called neuropeptide Y. I'm just going to put NPY, neuropeptide Y. What scientists have found is that this is the most potent neurotransmitter, and a neurotransmitter is just a little, think of it as a chemical signal from one neuron to another that allows our neurons to communicate, okay? This particular neurotransmitter tells us to eat, just like ghrelin does as a hormone. But at a neurotransmitter level up in the brain and into our satiety center, it's like this drip of constant craving. So we got this 1-2 punch. We got hormones, we got neurotransmitters that are literally priming us to eat, even if we're not really hungry. Okay? And so we end up eating more. And up here we said we store more. This is all irregardless. It has nothing to do with calories here. Calories independent, if we put this box here, here's another little box. These boxes have nothing to do with calories. You get a completely different physiological response. Now let's go down here real quick to microbiome. Microbiome is the bacteria in your gut. It's the good guys and the bad guys that ratio should be about 80-20. Okay, 80% good guys, good bacteria, to about 20% bad. And even the bad under that ratio is a good thing. Okay, and these bacteria help you digest your food. These bacteria help you to absorb nutrients. So what's the whole point of food if you can't absorb nutrients? Well, here's what sleep deprivation does. Sleep deprivation creates what's called dysbiosis. Okay, a little fancy word, but here's another box here. This dysbiosis basically allows more of the bad guys, which should be about 20%, to proliferate. And when they proliferate, your appetite goes up. Your hunger goes up. That's not a good thing. Because again, we already knew that we don't need more food. So our body is tricked into thinking we need more, so our appetite regulation goes awry. This is all appetite regulation. Hormones, appetite regulation. Neurotransmitters, same thing. Microbiome, this is more your metabolism. This is you are metabolizing the food that you eat. So directly right here, you're not absorbing as much nutrients, so therefore you feel more hungry, therefore you eat more, therefore you get more neuropeptide Y, therefore you get more hormones that are all out of whack. Can you see how this works? Now, the last box here is circadian rhythm. And this is basically a 24-hour cycle of hormones and neurotransmitters. Basically it's this. It's how these hormones and others, neurotransmitters in your body, goes through this wave. So when you get up, your cortisol should naturally, as the sun goes up, it should start to go up. And as the sun starts to go down, it goes down. Same thing with neurotransmitters. There's a natural wave that goes on here. That natural wave, without going into the science of all of this, that natural wave is what is largely responsible for your hunger, for your appetite. And if this gets thrown off by sleep deprivation, which it does, then regardless of calories, you're gonna want to eat more. You might want to eat later on in the day if you have a disrupted circadian rhythm. You might want to be eating like at 9:30 at night, which is not normal under a normal circadian rhythm. You might be wanting to eat super early in the morning, which that's not normal under normal circadian rhythm, because cortisol is high and you don't want cortisol mixed up with insulin. And if you're eating too early in the day, it's going to mix up with insulin and store it as fat. My point being, when we sleep normally, all this gets regulated. And in a video down the road, I'm going to show you some tricks to help you with your sleep. But what I wanted to do in this video is really focus on the second pillar of my fab formation coaching, and that is focusing on less. And this is really the yin component. You got yin and you got yang. Yin is sleeping. It's bringing energy back in. Yin is allowing the energy to produce more yang. If I'm not sleeping, if I'm not taking enough time for myself or any other yin activity, I can't express the yang that it's going to take for my career, for my family, for whatever the task might be. Okay? So, I'll shut up now, but I wanted to show you the myth of it's just, if I want to lose weight, I just got to focus on food. No, you don't. There's so much more. Weight loss is a metabolic picture. It's a lifestyle. It's so much more than just calories in. You got to look at it holistically. You got to look at the big picture. You got to look at the yin and the yang. And this is part that not a lot of us are seeing. So I hope this helps. Food for thought. If you have any questions on this, let me know. And please comment. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this. There's more of this to come. So you guys have a great week. And always remember, life is good. Take care.